Blessings, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today for Within the Cauldron and also Behind the Witch's Veil. Tonight, we have some guests that are mediums because today, August 12th, is Happy Medium Day. So all you mediums out there, psychics, happy day to you. So, to further ado, let's bring up my handsome cousin, Nico. Hey, Nico.
Hello, guys. Happy Medium and Psychic Day.
And we're going to have fun tonight. We're going to have a lot of nice guests. Okay, so we're going to bring up Medium Red, who is Spirit's sister. Hello, hon.
Hi, sweetie. Hey, Nico. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing all yourself.
We're doing fine. Excited for tonight?
I am.
No, I am too. Can you imagine having a day for yourself?
I love it.
I know.
I think everybody should have a day for themselves. Absolutely.
And we have one of my friends from Colorado, Gavinia Divina. Hi, hon. How are you? And then we have Adam, who is from Maine. And then we have Megan from Texas. Ladies, thank you for joining us tonight. I'm excited. Today is Happy Medium Day. Who would have thought that you guys would have your own day?
It's about time.
I know, right?
Especially with the history of things like this and how it was pretty much like a sideshow kind of thing, and just a lot of distrust being built into any type of psychics or mediumship, with like table tipping and things like that being so prevalent.
Yep. Yeah. Very true.
I'm hoping that after tonight, everybody will walk away and like, oh, they're not bad. They're just like you and I, So
I mean, I'm weird, but I'm not scary.
Well, yeah, I think we're all kind of weird and crazy. Sometimes we might be scary.
I can be scary if we earned it.
Well, we know you can be scary. We already know that. Okay. The first question I'd like to ask everyone is, how long have you been into mediumship? And Medium Red, you want to be the first?
Sure. I was going to say, Nico, did you want to go first?
We can start wherever.
Yeah.
Ladies first. He's a gentleman.
Ladies first. Okay. Well, I've been a medium for 5 years, almost 6 years actually. But I've had the gift since I was 5 years old. And I remember, I grew up Catholic, and you know the story a little bit, but the other people do not. But I basically was a Catholic. My mother raised me Catholic, and so, as you know, this is not something that Catholics believe in. They believe in heaven and hell, and they don't believe in spirits coming back and talking or being earthbound or anything like that. So the first cognizant time that I remember was when I was during a tea party for my grandfather, and he was deceased. And I had a square table, and I had a bear, and I had a doll, and it was me. And then I had an empty chair for my grandfather. And she came in and heard me talking and asked me, "Who are you talking to?" And I said, "Pepe." And she's like, well, Pap's dead. What are you talking about? And I said, I know, but he's sitting right there. And she's like, oh, no. This is demonic. You do not do this. We do not do that in a Catholic house. So I literally had to squash my gift. But my grandmother and my father were very active with me behind the scenes and continued to keep encouraging me to continue my gift, which I think was a great thing because I kept it a secret for a long time. In fact, my current husband didn't really even know about it until like 2020. I'm still married.
Surprise, right?
Good. That is really good.
You gotta have surprises. It keeps marriage interesting.
I just want to keep him on his toes, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Gavinia, how about you, hon?
So I've been doing it ever since I was younger too. I talked with a child, I believe when I was five or six. My mom kind of tells me the story of a child that was in an apartment where I used to put down the toilet seat lid and climb up there and actually talk to this boy in the mirror. I don't remember too much, but she said that I always called him Cecil. So it was a very unique name too at that time that I thought was very, very unique. And then I've been doing it professionally ever since 2006 after my grandpa passed away.
And I just want to add that her family and herself was one of my vendors when I did pagan events out in Colorado. So that's how we met.
Yep, that's where I started professionally. Was actually at one of their events. They didn't have a lot of the readers didn't show up. So my mom was like, "She can do it. She can do it." And I was like, "I've never done this professionally. No, I don't do." And then I sat out at a table and I had a bunch of people, and it was to the point where we had a lot of people that would cry that had no idea, and I had no idea where the information was coming. I was doing what I knew how to do, and I was helping people, and it was enlightening, but at first it did get scary. It was nerve-wracking. Oh my gosh, I'm sitting here as a professional doing this when I like to do it to help people. So it was definitely a unique experience. But if it weren't for Pagan Pride and that actual event, I probably would still be doing it behind the scenes.
Oh, so now I kind of feel like I pushed you into it.
Yes, pretty much. You need that push. Definitely need that push.
Well, I'm glad I did because you have been coming quite popular out there. And we do have you on, we have your link on our website too as well.
Awesome.
So, so Autumn, how about you, hon?
Well, I had a very active house spirit-wise when I was a kid, and I do remember having a lot of interactions with those spirits as a kid. I realized I was a medium about 4 years ago, but that's when I started taking development classes, and I realized that my thoughts and the way I receive things have been like that my whole life. I just wasn't aware. I thought I was an overthinker and just didn't understand what it was until I started honing it.
Wow. Aren't you glad you did?
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. It's been amazing.
Great.
Yeah.
Megan, how about you, hon?
I've always had it pretty much. Like, my first memory with it was back when I was a kid. There was a lady that I would play with, and I always had my little Barbie doll. And I always called her Aunt Jeannie. Well, Aunt Jeannie was my grandmother's sister who had been killed, getting run over by a car in front of our house.
Oh.
So, she was not very happy with me, but didn't know what to make of it. It's one of those, like, it's a mix of, like, happy, sad, confused.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like I described it to a T, and she showed me the picture, and yeah, that's Aunt Jeannie.
That's amazing.
Yeah. because like her name was Jean, but everybody called her Jeannie. Because their mother was Virginia, but everybody called her Jenny. So you had Jeannie and Jenny.
Wow.
And it just kind of went on from there. And then I had that, I guess, like a pull towards like witchcraft and occultism and stuff like that. And I started doing that when I was 16. And I'm 28 now. So about 12 years. As far as the mediumship, I've never really done it professionally. I do home readings, mainly for like family, friends, things like that. Anybody that's like, hey, I hear them talking about, like, oh, the weirdest thing happened in my house. This happened, da da da. I offer to come by and be like, hey, like I can check it out for you because I can sense things, I can see things, stuff like that. And I actually, ironically enough, I'm in the process of getting my real estate license. I feel like that can help. You're like, oh no, y'all don't want this house. Well, why not? It's so pretty. Water damage, it's fine. You don't want me to tell you the truth. You don't want me to tell you about the shadow man in the corner. No.
It's got a pest problem.
Like,
We're not.
Wow, I love that.
Like, I don't care if this is
That's
like
amazing.
a $400,000 house and I'll get $40,000 in commission. Like, I'd rather you not get possessed. Let's go next door. It's fine. This one's better. It's not occupied. Like, oh,
Well, for me, I guess it's been off and on my whole life. It kind of just comes and goes in spurts at times. I don't know why. I know when I was pregnant, I was pregnant 4 times. It was really, really strong, very strong. I mean, I think probably the time that I really freaked everybody out was when my husband's best friend died. And I was kind of like in the half asleep, half awake, and I saw everything down to the T, the red truck, the name of the tavern, the bridge that it happened on, the time, the clothes, how many people, what they was wearing, everything. And that really, really freaked me out. And I was pregnant with Amy at the time. That was back in 1990. And that was really, really probably the most vivid one that I was like, oh my God. It scared me in a way. Really scared my husband. And, and that's something we would get into here pretty soon too as well, because it's an interesting story on how I told his mom how I saw everything.
Yeah.
So it's been off and on. I don't know why. I guess maybe I get too busy or something, or maybe we just live in a house where everything's calm. They're not too active. Sometimes it can be, believe me. 2:30 in the morning or so, I'll be waking up on, what do you want? I tend to keep my mouth quiet when I'm in a crowded area. I'm an empath too, so that really gets into my head where I just, anymore, I don't like crowds. I'd rather just be in a very small mix. Yeah, so Nico, thank you for being such a gentleman and waiting for the last.
No problem. So for me, I started seeing spirits when I was about 6 or 7. The first one I saw was a full body apparition of my grandfather. I was sick on the couch and I saw a man standing at the end of the hallway. And I was really concerned why this strange man was in our house. And he's wearing, like the cowboy pearl snaps. He had that on, suspenders, and slacks. And he's looking at me, and he pulls his dentures out and puts them in a shirt pocket. And then, goes like this, like you're gonna wake people up. And then walks into my parents' room. And so I told my mom the next morning about this man that was in the house. And she was like, oh, it's just a fever dream. Until I start describing the man.
Mhm.
And it was her dad. And he hated his dentures and would put them in his shirt pocket. And, she just went, white as a sheet. And she's just sitting there like, what do I do about this? Kids that are sensitive are creepy. In all respect. That coming out of a 6-year-old is terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mom, I saw your dead father yesterday.
Well, I didn't know him. He passed away when I was 1, so I had no active memories of this man whatsoever.
That's like my grandfather. He died when I was 9 months old. Same thing, Nico.
Mm-hmm. And after that, if I saw something, my mother never discredited me or anything like that. She just didn't know how to help. She's just I don't know what to do about the man in the corner of the room. It wasn't the normal, there's something in my closet, from the little kids. It was, the either family members or, I was even seeing lane spirits or, the fae. And so I had this creepy little hairy man that would crawl on the wall like a gecko. And he terrified me because he didn't speak, but he would come an inch off of your face and just stare at you. And you could feel the breath. And he would just do that for hours, not blinking, nothing. And that was about the time that I started exploring witchcraft as a solution to my problems. And then moving on, I've seen spirits since then. But I didn't really actively start to communicate with them until after I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those where it's just a quirky little thing. I'd see them, I didn't really hear them. And I ran into a lady at a metaphysical shop, and I just got this download about this lady's entire life. And I don't know what came over me, but I came up to her and I solved all of her life problems. And she was horrified and fascinated at the same time, just as I was, because I'm what the hell did I just say to this woman? I just changed her life.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome, though.
Every time I hear that story, I guess I'm a proud cousin that I'm that's my cousin. He's really growing up, I used to, checked in on him when he at family gathering, check on the babies and stuff. So yeah, now he's all grown up. So yeah, I'm proud. So,
I think around my 20s, I joined a paranormal group. I was their sensitive. So I would go do the blind read of the house and then give feedback on hot spots and what I picked up, and then they would fact check us with the historian, and then I was the cameraman the rest of the time. I guess that's the most capacity that I do that as quote unquote professionally. I don't typically do mediumship readings for people. For me, the spirits will come to me and give me messages. It's not necessarily I have a person come to me seeking messages from somebody.
Another question I want to ask is, because I kind of want to go on to what happened in 1990. Skeptics, when you tell somebody you have gifts, they're really skeptic, or they put the cross and oh no, I know when I told the mother of my husband's best friend about what happened, she hated me. She even kicked me out of her house. She hated me. She was really I know she was sad, and I kept going, should I tell her, should I not? You know, and it kind of it eats at your brain like a zombie, you know. And so when I did decide to tell her, I told her everything, and she's like, yeah, those are the clothes he was wearing, blah, everything. Yeah, it happened at that tavern that they left in the red truck, S10, blah, blah, blah. It was all three of them. They hit the divider and everything. The call flipped, blah, blah, blah. Everything was down to the T. And she goes, why didn't you call? And I'm like, okay. First of all, it was probably 9:15, 9:20 in the morning. I was pregnant with Amy at that time. And, that was back in June, and she was born in July. So at that time, only thing you think about is your tummy and everything, being pregnant. So, I didn't call. And plus, if I did, he would not even come to the phone. He would just, no, yeah, whatever. Because the night before that he died, he told Chris and I, you guys are going to hell. You guys need to change your ways. And everything. And it's like, no, we don't. We're fine where we at. You better change your ways, buddy. This drugs and boozing it up before work is going to kill you someday. And then, when I told his mom that, I'm like, ooh, because I told him he's going to kill him someday. And then he died. And yeah, she was kind of pissed at me for a long time. So I felt bad about it. But how about you guys? Has anything like that happened to you? And Medium Red, we start with you first again.
I have had it. I'm sure that you guys will attest to this, but when you tell them they're a medium, they want to test you to see if you're true or not. And I had one acquaintance that had a friend, and she wanted to have a reading. She had just had a baby, and so they came over to the house. I said, come on over to the house. It's fine. I can do it here. And she was going through a tough time, I guess, with a sort of abusive man that was the father of her newborn child. I knew nothing of this, but her grandmother came through and was telling me all of this information about, basically you need to get away from the man. And I said, she has a real tie to your child, your baby. And I said, in fact, is her middle name Gloria? And I said, wait, I said, you've changed it. I said, you changed it at the last minute. Instead of it being a middle name, you made it her first name. You made it in honor of your grandmother. And she said, yes, as a matter of fact, I did. And then I had said to her that there was a stepfather or a father-like figure that was also around her as well. And he was very tight-lipped about his name for some reason. I got the impression that maybe they might not have had a very good relationship in life. And so therefore he was very tight-lipped about his name. Well, she said, well, if you can't get a name, then you're not a medium. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way. And I just gave you a name for your grandmother. And so, I remember the acquaintance had left, and she'd called me later, and she's like, I got really upset with her and told her that was really bad, that she tried to test you like that, and that she wasn't accepting of the information that you had just because you couldn't get the stepfather's name. And I said, you know what? It's not a big deal. I said, someday she'll read into that and she'll figure it out herself. But, I said, I only get what I get. I said, I can't control it. It's kind of like what Autumn said, it's like, I'm not sure how I get it, and it just comes through, Yeah. So, the skeptics out there are not fun.
Yeah. How about you?
Did you say me?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, when I kind of have a similar case with a mom and daughter kind of came to me, and it was one of those, you need to get a reading because I had one and it was amazing and you really need to try it out kind of thing. And I feel like those are, if the other person isn't as excited and is more of on that skeptical side, I do feel like they're not going to get the best reading like their friend had. And mainly, I feel that's also because they don't really want a reading. They don't want information. And sometimes the information they receive, a lot of the times they want to push it away as, no, that's not true, or that makes no sense. And so a lot of times when I get the skeptics that say that doesn't make any sense, I say, well, jot it down on a piece of paper in front of you. I always keep paper and pen for my clients because I'm like, jot it down. It may make sense later on. I said, I'm just giving you, as you said, what you get. And a week later, they called me because I got an image of like a really important ring. There was going to be some kind of really important ring. And she's like, oh no, there's nobody, there's nothing in my family that would make sense. There's nothing going on about a ring. And so I just skipped over it and was like, okay, we'll just write it down and let's move on. And then a week later, she called me and said that her daughter was actually engaged and that was that ring. And I was like, so it was kind of an instance too, where I feel like, they spilled the beans on it before. And her first reaction wasn't really excitement. It was, the psychic was right. The medium was right.
Yeah.
Her daughter was also like, what are you talking about? So she said it kind of ruined the excitement part. So I definitely always try to clarify that with people too in readings, that sometimes things I won't give you as much detail because it could, risk that, you want to get those surprises and little things that happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, Autumn, I guess you're up next, hon.
With the skeptics, I just feel like there are just combative people who are going to believe what they want to believe, and no matter what you tell them, they're going to hear what they want to hear. And it's not my job to convince anybody of anything. It's not my job for them to believe me. Just because someone doesn't believe me doesn't mean I'm lying. And I just say that to them too. It only means you don't believe me, and that is it. And if they want to ask questions and they have an open mind, I will gladly answer them. But yeah, I'm not here to prove anything to anyone.
Yep, I agree with you. Succinctly said, Autumn. Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect.
How about you, Megan?
Skeptic wise, I mean, I've had it in my own family. Sorry, I dropped out a second ago. I had some technical issues.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
I get spazzed out. I've had it in my own family. It's like when you're a little kid and you see stuff, you're like, oh no, you don't. Like, there's an old hospital that used to be in my town, and I used to go to the library that was right next to it. And so the hospital has since been like shut down, everything else. And I asked my grandma, I'm like, who are the people in the pajamas? And she's like, what do you mean? What people in the pajamas? It's like, there's nobody in pajamas. Well, never believed me. Years later on, I was like a teenager, go back to that library with my grandma, and I'm like, there's somebody over there that's in like a hospital gown. And this was after I had already like had the instance with her sister and things like that. So I went from, oh no, you don't see anybody, to oh okay. And then she told me about the people in the pajamas that I used to talk about when I was a kid. So when you're a kid, like, it just looks like a nightgown. I've had the people that you don't give them the information that they want, so you're fake.
Yep.
Which my thing, if I just gave you some like information off the top of my head that kind of satisfied what you were wanting, wouldn't that make me fake instead of what you actually are getting?
Very true.
And then the same thing, because I kind of get it on two ends, because I get it from the mediumship side as well as the witchcraft side.
Yep, it's a double whammy there. Yeah, we was talking about that before everybody came on, how much we have bad points against us. Not just one, but two, sometimes three or four. How about you, Nick?
For me, it's I agree with Red on the, like, when people find out and they immediately want to test you and be like, okay, well, what spirits are here? Or like, can you pull my deceased grandmother out of God knows where and force her to give me a message? And I'm like, look, there are mediums that are capable of that, but that's not how mine works. Like, if they're around and they got a message, I'll share it, but that's not how my gift works. And then other times where they're just not happy that there's no spirit message, and they think that, okay, well, like, you just can't cold read me, so like you've got to be fake. Like, I'm not gonna cold read somebody. One, I think it's disingenuous, and two, like, if there's no spirit message, that's a valid answer. Like, that I don't got nothing. There's crickets. I'm sorry.
Does anybody else have any questions that they'd like to ask each other?
I was gonna say, like, things that I've noticed as being a medium too, like what you were talking about, Nico, is that, well, if you're a medium, you could pull this information out of the hat, instantly. And it's like, no. And in fact, knowing, Tyler Henry and Chip Coffey and Cindy Kaza, I mean, I'm doing classes with Cindy, advanced mediumship classes with Cindy right now. That doesn't happen with her either. So it's like, it's not even the ones that are, supposedly famous, they're not able to do that either. So it's interesting how they do that. Or they'll do, is there anybody around me? Can you do a reading right now?
Yep.
Or like, I just saw somebody here. Who's here with me,
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, I did an investigation. I'm also a paranormal investigator, like Nico. I'm the medium for two different paranormal teams, and we have a couple TV shows too that we do. And one of the places that we had gone to was Clifton, Arizona, and I remember that there was an apothecary there, and the woman that owned it asked me to come back, and she's like, "My friend's a medium," and I'm sure you guys can totally get where I'm going with this. And she says she's a medium, and I'm like, okay, great, love to meet her, let's talk. So I go in, and of course she's on the floor playing with a cat ball, and we go up to this room that supposedly has had activity, and my husband's with me as well, and we're up there, and she's got the Ovilus out, and she has the spirit box going and everything, and I'm like, well, I'm the ghost tool. I don't need to have a cat ball. I don't need to have an Ovilus. I don't need any of that. I can just do this without any equipment. And so that was like the first thing that I thought was really kind of odd to begin with for a medium. But then all of a sudden, I think she got intimidated by me, and she started saying, like, and the spirit box was going. And I mean, if you've ever heard of spirit box, sometimes it's clear and sometimes it's not. I'm very in tune to it. And she's like, well, what do you mean you don't like medium red? And I'm like, oh, here we go. And then my husband's standing next to me, and, she's talking to this person, and I'm looking around, and he's looking at me, and then he kind of gave me this look like, and I went, like, there's no one here. Kind of like what Nico was saying, there's not a single entity here. And she's like concocting this whole story. And I'm like, wow, look at the time. I've got a 4-hour drive back to Scottsdale. I wish you luck.
Yeah.
And then I left.
Yeah, no, the ones that get me, the ones that get me are the ones that like download the app on their phone. Like
Yes.
the Spirit Box app, and then it throws out random words every so often.
It does. It's an algorithmic word spitter.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
what they do.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever come across somebody who say, "Oh, I'm a medium," and then end up not actually being one? Because when we was at the Lizzie Borden house last year in Fall River, Massachusetts, we went to the Lizzie's house, and we had somebody there who said it was a medium, which, I never, discredit anybody. If they are, they are. If they're not, well, okay, they're not. And my son kept saying, "Mom, do you feel this? Mom, do you see that?" Or anything. I'm like, shh, like, don't wrap me out, boy. Last thing I want to know, have everybody else know. And woman got down into the chair, and she was talking to, there was a ghost box, so it wasn't hers. It was just a loaner that they gave out to you. And it was next to her, and it wasn't answering her at all. So she sat down. She goes, "I'm going to go under in a trance and talk to these ghosts." And she goes, 1, 2, 3. And she goes, she didn't say anything. It's like 1, 2, 3. That was it. Her eyes closed. And
oh no, we lost
and everything.
She's freezing. Christy, you're freezing.
Christy, your Wi-Fi's McDonald's.
Oh.
Are we back?
Yep.
While we're waiting on Christy to come back, I do want to state that for those of you who aren't familiar with entering trance states, it takes most people between 15 and 30 minutes to enter theta trance state, whether that's through Estes method, scrying, or like through breath work. And I'm not saying that you can't enter it quicker than that. There are people that are very comfortable and experienced with entering those states quicker. But
not on a 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, for most people, it's right around the 8 to 15 minute mark.
Yeah, to do 1, 2, 3, it does not happen that quickly. You're absolutely right, and thank you for saying that, because I was going to say that too. She had to reboot.
Second. Mm-hmm.
How about you, Autumn? Have you had that happen where you've run into somebody that's says they are and they aren't?
Yes, definitely. And you can usually tell any information from spirit that invokes fear within the sitter or is attempting to is not genuine guidance and is not coming from unconditional love. And that's what spirit is. And so I think it's pretty easy to discern once you understand that distinction.
Mm-hmm. Yep, nailed it. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I always say trust the little gut instinct in your stomach, basically in a nutshell. Because that's like I did with the girl within Clifton, and she handed me she goes, "Do you have a card?" So I handed her my business card, and then she handed me her card, and I'm like, "Paper roses. Okay, that's interesting. A name for a medium. Okay. All right."
Interesting.
So yeah, it was really interesting to say the least. How about you, Megan?
As much as I hate to say it, my mom, is growing up, when they figured out that, I can actually see stuff, I guess it was one of those, something that she wanted to be able to do too, but couldn't, so she acted like she could.
There's a lot out there that do that. Yep.
There's several times that it's been she'll take pictures of stuff that, there was orbs here, and I'm like, that's water.
That's just the lint in there.
Yeah.
Dust.
Or Yeah. Or she'll be like, "Oh, you see this ball of light? Yeah, it's reflecting off the window."
How about you, Gavinia?
So yeah, I feel like the word's passed around. So, I think a lot of people don't even know the difference. Like a lot of people assume that every psychic's a medium.
Right.
And that's another reason, like even on like my website, for the longest time I had like talk to a deceased relative or something on that form, because mediumship or medium, people had no idea what it was. And
Right.
so I was getting them, well, can you do this? Can you do that? And so I kept on, getting this. But now I feel like they feel like a psychic is a medium and a medium is a psychic.
Exactly.
One or the other, or you can be a combo of both, but you really have to understand both of them, I feel, to know if you are one or the other or both.
Exactly. Yeah.
I agree. And that's a really good point, is that, so some of you know, I'm one of the TikTok witches, and not the cringy kind. I try to put out the good information out there. But so I have an interesting experience with a lot of faux readers and psychic mediums that are on there to make some quick money.
Yeah.
And it's upsetting. And I try to follow as few readers and psychic mediums as possible, because the more I engage with them, the more they try to give me the ones I don't want. But like even locally, like I'm known for telling people that everybody can read the cards, but not everybody can give the meaning behind it. Just as much as like the psychic readers. But I had locally, I had quite the opposite experience. I went in and had a reading done with a lady who's a psychic medium, and I was kind of skeptical because I normally I'll get a divination reading done every now and then just for fun, and I was skeptical because he didn't pull out any cards or anything. So I was like, well, what kind of readings do you do? And she's like, oh, I'm an intuitive psychic medium. And I was like, oh, this will be cool.
Oh, wow.
And so we go through the reading, and she was not only spot on, but I'm seeing her spirits behind her, giving her the information. And she keeps seeing me look from her and look up past her. And then she's like, oh, you're psychic. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, what do you see? And then it's like, well, there's this man who's got a cigar in his hand. And she's like, oh yeah, that's my grandpa. And we're just going. It was so quaint. And she's like, it's not often that I get to read a reader. And it was just really wholesome, and I love those validating experiences where it's yeah, that's absolutely there.
I love it. That's awesome.
So I'm back.
Chrissy, you're back.
Chrissy,
we got to hear the rest of the story. And now the rest of the story.
I guess some of the spirits here must be, every time we start talking about haunted items or mediumship or something, I get interference. So it's crazy. Okay, but the story.
Retrograde, but you get this many psychics in a room.
It could
and
be.
expect the spirits not to rile up?
Of course.
But like I was saying, she went into the trance, and then she came out of the trance, and she goes, well, that spirit played with my leg. And then, as clear as day, I never heard a ghost box be so clear. Wherever that spirit was, it said, you are a damn liar. Like that. And my son he has the biggest grin on his face. He goes, I knew it, Mom. I knew it. She was medium. I go, well, she might still be medium. I go, you can't really tell nobody if they are or not, and he was saying, you should really go do something, I'm going, no, I'm not going to do anything. Not until we went downstairs in the basement to the seance room, and everybody was trying to talk to the spirit in the ghost box, and you have all those questions, like, are you still here? How long you been here? Blah, 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 and all this. And I was just really quiet, sitting in a really nice, comfy chair. And everybody went up and went to the next room, because the tour guide is like, okay, we could go to this next room where somebody was found dead, and everything. And my son goes, are you coming, Mom? I go, no, I'm going to stay here. So I stayed there, and with that little ghost box that he kind of took to give to me to play with. And I was in there just having fun, I was talking, and there was giggling and everything. We was having a grand old time and everything until they say, can you release us? And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. What? I'm not doing it. No way. See you later, and everything. But yeah, and the medium that said she was in the trance and everything, she was just chatting on and said, oh, there's a guy behind you. Oh, there's a woman over here. There's a small kid over here. Blah, me, she's just going on. And I'm just keeping my mouth shut, like, okay, well, let her have her day of glory. That's fine, So, but I'm sure that has happened to all of us, correct?
It has, yeah. I like Autumn's answer. Autumn had a really great answer for it. It was perfect. But yeah, we've all had, like that woman in Clifton. She's like, swear to God, she was talking to two different entities, and then she was saying, oh, what do you mean, don't like medium red? And I'm like, there's no one in here. There's not a single entity in here. It's like, okay, bye. And she called herself a medium. And again, like I said, it's like, sure, belonging to a paranormal team, yes, they have all their equipment and stuff like that. But when you ask them what their favorite tool is, they always go, me. Because, I'm the one that can see, hear, taste, feel, and everything. And then they go and validate it, just like what Nico was doing. Back it up with the evidence afterwards. So I don't need to have an Ovilus or an app on my phone or anything like that,
Yeah. I just feel like they just whisper to me or touch me or tell me something, or if they want to. I don't really, I only use a ghost box probably just a few times. I use the Ouija board a lot, though. I'm really big on the Ouija board, but that's just me. Because I really haven't had no bad experience with it. Like I know others has. So, I'm really confident about it. So how about you two? Have you had any experience, any tools that you also use?
So I use, who are you talking to?
Either one of you guys who want to answer me.
I have used a Ouija board before a lot when I was younger. And like we tell people all the time, it's like any other divination tool. It's like tarot cards. It's like anything else. You just have to use it appropriately, and you have to set up protection. You don't go into some place knowing it's haunted with no spiritual protection up and just going in there because you want to excite or make the spirits mad to get some, excitement from them, to get something on film or something on your tools. So I definitely feel like it is like, but you do have a lot of people that will, and I think Hollywood once again has brought them in that dark shade of light, some possession or demonic tool when they're not.
Right.
Yeah. True. Very true.
But yeah, otherwise I don't use for like all the psychic readings I do. Occasionally I'll do oracle at the end because I realize that people are a lot more visual, and so after giving them the reading, they're saying yes, that's right, yes, that's spot on, and then at the end I feel like it really wraps it up, but it shows them that they also have that power because I have them shuffle the cards, I have them choose their own cards, and I simply flip it over and connect with them what I discussed with them in the reading that matches that card.
Cool. How about you, Autumn?
I have a lot of fun with different divination techniques and methods. I think I've tried them all. Um, just because why not? And where we doing here in life? We're just having experiences, and sometimes it's just out of a sense of adventure and fun. And I've been doing that for my whole life. Like right now I have a road opener candle burning because I'm doing candlemancy, which
Oh, I love it.
I've done before, but is like just it reinvigorates. I just kind of go moment by moment. Like if I feel called to look at the clouds and ask the clouds a question and see what shapes reveal themselves to me, like I do that. And it's just kind of staying open and in the present will guide me to where I want to go. Like I was doing bibliomancy, like asking the book a question, flipping through the pages, and it was telling me that I need more confidence in what I'm doing. That I can always use more confidence, and then having a lack of confidence will block answers, will block progress, which makes complete sense. It's just and I love tarot. My tarot deck is so sassy and amazing and kind of cutthroat. Like I get answers and it reveals my subconscious truths. It's just so funny. The other day, I was shuffling my tarot deck and I was asking a question that I was pretty sure they weren't going to give me the answer to. And I was shuffling because I like when my cards fly out, and my cards weren't flying out, and it was like going on 2 minutes of shuffling. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to cut the deck. And so I cut the deck, and it cut to where one of my cards had flipped over in the deck, and I just got that pretty much, where it's just the back sides of two cards. So like cutting the deck wouldn't work, and I only cut the deck that one time and just laughed. I'm like, fine, fine. Like I already knew that they weren't going to give me the answer because it's about something potentially, you don't want to see the end of or you don't want to hear about the end of a movie. You want to watch it and experience it unfold, and your guides don't want to ruin the good things coming up in your life because you'll just wait for that good thing and just let life pass you by as you're waiting for this thing. So that's what they were doing to me, and I understand. But it's just, yeah, I love it all so much.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I love it.
Yeah.
So are you, Autumn? Are you a witch too, or are you what do you consider yourself, a witch or?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I probably am. I haven't really labeled that. There's just so much things I love. I love my plants. I love talking to my ingredients when I'm cooking. I love talking into my water before I drink it. I set
Oh, you are.
intentions.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's
you
just a
are.
little bit of everything. Yeah. But I haven't tried to like narrow it down to what type. I just am fluid.
I don't think, when it comes to the path, because being, doing pagan events for 27 years, I realized that it doesn't really matter which path you are on. If you want to be, a pagan, a Wiccan, a witch or something, go for it. Just do it, because it all comes down to the same thing, no matter what path you are on. So,
I like, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I was done.
I like to embrace, you guys know who Bashar is? Daryl Anka, and he channels Bashar, how he talks about act on your highest excitement with no attachment or expectation of an outcome. And I've just embraced the hell out of that in the past 2 years. And it's been really cool and just freeing. And it really definitely keeps me in the present. And there's a lot of magic in the present.
Oh, absolutely. Go with the
I agree with that.
Yeah.
The flow of be in the positive flow of the universe.
Yeah.
And I agree. Like, I think that there's a limiting factor when we like really hone down on labels, especially as witches. And there's nothing wrong with if you're very passionate about a particular type of witchcraft or something like that, like using that as a descriptor for yourself. But you have to keep that door open because I've been doing this for 20 years now, and those titles have changed very, very much over the years. And that's also fun. But I totally agree. And Chrissy, what are your favorite tools for communing with spirit besides the Ouija board?
Well, I just have to say, because like I said before, it kind of come and goes. So really just myself, my mind, body, mind, and soul, really. Or the Ouija board. Sometimes I'll probably use a pendulum or dowsing rods if I have to. I just don't really have enough activity to actually go to that. If I do get a lot of activity, I get my Ouija board out. I trust that. I know a lot of people is like, oh no, she trusts that, but no, really, I do. It doesn't do nothing bad to me. It's good, but I guess I was taught at a young age,
right,
how to use it. And I guess if you are taught how to use it properly, that it just doesn't affect you.
Well, that's like what Gavinia said too. I always say the same thing when I get asked in podcasts. If somebody will bring up the Ouija board and they'll be like, "Oh, it's a terrible thing. You shouldn't use it." And I'm like, "No, I think it's a great tool.
Yeah.
As long as it's used properly and you understand what you're doing, and exactly what Gavinia said is that you're protected."
Yeah.
So I agree.
Oh yeah.
Set up your blessings, set up your filter, understand like what you're doing, and also if you're going to be doing like heavy spirit communication like that, I would hope that you are capable of performing a cleansing or a banishment.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that that's kind of paramount with protection to doing any kind of like spirit work. That you shouldn't be poking bears you don't know how to get rid of.
Exactly.
And not that it's a negative experience, but that I would rather somebody be prepared for a worst case scenario and never need it.
Right.
Yeah. Like getting a new animal, like if a person gets a new animal and they have no idea how to take care of it, and they're trying to figure out, you do that research before the animal's in your home.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You always do your research if you do spells or anything, any kind of divination, you always got to do your homework on it. Have there been any incident where you might use your mediumship and you cleans real good and everything, of course, but was there a time where something may have followed you home?
Yeah.
So, can you tell us about it?
Yep. So, I guess I should start the context. Where I live was the part of the original old settlement in our town. So it goes back to the 1850s. And it's the soil's definitely got a violent history to it. And I was curious. So I did a seance session, spirit board, spirit box, and I contacted a Edwardian child. And she claimed to be 14, told me the year that she had passed, and we're talking, and she's rude. Like, not like this is a malicious spirit, but she's like sassy. And she called me a waif, which I had to go look up what that meant. And it's Victorian slang for a unwashed homeless person. And I'm just like, rude little child. She was vulgar. She was rude. And it's I got to the point where it's like, okay, well, clearly, you're just a mean little ghost, and you can leave, you go home, go away. And I was like, go to goodbye, and then on the spirit box, I'm staying. And I'm just like, no, you're not. You can you're leaving. You do not get a choice in this. That mean little girl stayed here for 6 weeks. And
Oh, wow.
was giving me like poltergeist activity in the house. She knocked a crystal orb off of a shelf and cracked it, and things were going missing. And I'm just like, okay, I gotta banish this annoying little girl. And normally, like, I don't like to do that to spirits a lot of the time. Like, I like to have that civil conversation with them. But she was just very strong-willed and wanted to be a menace.
Unbelievable. I took my girlfriend, one of my best friends, on one of my paranormal investigations, and it happened to be at a cemetery. And
Cemeteries.
yeah, this was pretty funny. So, and she was a little skeptic at first. We dealing with she believed in me, but was skeptical of the situation. Let's put it that way. So I remember we walked in and the investigation got called off at the last minute because, in Arizona, we get those monsoon storms that appear out of nowhere. And we suddenly had a monsoon storm and we were going to be filming. And so we had to take all the equipment, obviously out of the cemetery and everything. And as we were running out, I usually will say, thank you very much. Appreciate you cooperating with us. And, you do need to stay here. We will come back, visit, something of that nature. Well, Alicia is a very good looking woman. And she came to the cemetery dressed a little bit provocatively. And she's a little bodacious. And she had a little low cut shirt on. And I remember we walked by, and this was a potter's cemetery. So some of the graves didn't even have name plates on them. And I remember we walked past this one grave and it just had a stone. It was very small, but it didn't say anything. It didn't have a name on it or anything. And I remember her remarking, like, how come the cemetery doesn't have names on the tombstones and markings? And I was explaining to her that this was more of a potter's field and that these people were they were poor and they couldn't afford it. And I always tell my friends after we leave together, no matter if it's just, a personal fun and function or something like this, to please call me or text me when you get home so I know that you've gotten home safe. And I didn't even get to the car. She had taken off and I was getting in the car, still loading up. And she called me and she's like, what is with me right now? And all of a sudden I like channeled and instantly saw this short Hispanic man named Alex. And he was attached to her and he was driving in her passenger seat and he was infatuated with her because she was beautiful and he was telling me how beautiful she was. And she's like, I cannot get the smell out of my car of this cheap, like CVS Walgreens cologne. She's like, and I swear to God, I have literally pulled off the side of the freeway. I thought my daughter spilled some cologne or perfume in the car. I was trying to get open up the car and check everywhere to see where it was coming from. She's like, what is with me? And I'm like, you have a passenger, unfortunately, and he thinks you're very, very sexy. And he told me that his cologne, he goes, all the ladies like my cologne. And I was laughing because he was such a personality. He had such a great personality, but he was like, just that Rico Suave. If you picture Rico Suave, that's exactly how this guy was. And I told him, I said, you need to leave. You need to leave now. I told, I forgot my own advice was, to say, you need to stay here. Please do not travel with us. And he did leave within like 5 minutes of her being home. She said the smell dissipated like very slowly and then it went away. So she's like, I'm never going to a cemetery with you again. I said, well, if you do go with me, please wear appropriate clothing. But so no, I haven't had him follow me home, but now my best friend won't go with me on any investigations.
I can see why.
Yeah.
How about you, Gavini?
So mine was from the Colorado Springs city. I think it's like the City Auditorium was what it was called, I believe, downtown. And I used to go there a lot for all their metaphysical fairs. But in October 2013, I was actually pregnant with my son at the time. And I was like walking around and felt just like a super heavy presence of like a male. But at that time I kept just pushing it away because like you kind of said, you when you're pregnant, you want to like really just you're focusing on your pregnancy. You don't want to talk to any spirits. You don't want to do anything. You have kind of that one job. And I remember going home and just being extremely sick and telling myself, like, I'm never going back to that place again. I'm never, I don't want to even be there anymore. Because it was such a heavy presence. It was almost like he was like, like sitting on top of my back. And it felt so negative and so dark. And at that time, I never connected with him. I just knew it was a male and this black shadow figure of just feeling heavy. And it took quite a few weeks before I was able to say, I need to just do this. Like, this is, in order to get rid of him, I need to, take a moment to really connect and say, you need to go. This is not okay. And once I did that, I felt like a huge release of just feeling lighter and freer, but it made me sick for, a couple of weeks. It made me have nightmares. I was like scared of the dark. I was scared to really do anything when the lights went off. So I would have like 4 or 5 different lights on just because I didn't want to see that shadowy figure. And I was like, I can't do that right now. I'm pregnant. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
It's definitely something different, but it taught me for sure that, you put up protection, no matter if you're pregnant, no matter, if you're doing this, like it's kind of that before you start a spell, you get everything ready. It's that kind of stuff. You need to make sure that you do this first, just like giving readings, just like before starting this podcast, you put up protection. You have those mechanisms, regardless of what it is. If it's just you and a friend chatting, you put that shield up and you put that protection up before starting, just like you would buckle your seatbelt in the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, absolutely. How about you, Autumn?
My worst negative spirit experience actually happened from somebody who is alive. I had a boyfriend who had suffered great amounts of abuse when he was a child, and he had a lot of attachments on him, a lot of mental illness. He ended up taking his life, and there was one attachment that I actually think may have been demonic was left in my house for like a year and a half. It was super hard to get rid of him. It was during my dark night of the soul, so I think my grieving definitely contributed to, because I matched that. Well, I wasn't demonic, but I was just in the worst emotional state of my life. And then as I was gaining course with my gaining a spiritual resonance and just kind of coming out of that, eventually it went away. But I tried everything I could get him to go away for a few days, but he'd come back. But now he's finally gone. As far as mediumship, no, I feel like I'm very highly protected because I've dealt with that already, that I'm not afraid of anything. And so I think that also helps, because I think when you fear things, you attract them to you. I guess the thing that will stick with me sometimes is, like, for example, I brought through somebody's grandfather who was in Germany when he was 12 during World War II, and they drafted him into the army, and he was on a battlefield with like this little tiny canvas pup tent, and he was terrified, and I could just feel his fear. And then for the next day or two after, I just felt for the little boy that he was, and it was more like of an empathetic connection rather than him attaching to me. And so that's my experience these days.
Wow.
The
next for empathy, can't even say the word. For empathics, it's hard, definitely to have those empathic moments like you do, Chrissy. I know you do too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't really, I had probably a few times, nothing really bad. It was just like, you have to go away now, leave me alone. I wasn't something that, it did make me sick probably a day or two for one, but when I get something attached to me, I kind of like, okay, do you want something else from me? You know, why are you here? You know, if you are just here because you just like me and want to hang on to me, it's not going to happen. I'm around my grandkids every day. You know, you got to go. And they usually, you know, they do go. So, you know, they're really, so far being good. So now, Nico and Medium Red and I, we have interviewed Chris McKinnell about Annabelle, Dan from Key West, Florida, about Robert the Doll. So, talking about haunted items, I do have a question after Nick shows this little, probably once video. If you have any items that is haunted that you kept or have encounter with. And Nick, go ahead and lead us to the conversation.
Bear with me. Let me snatch the video real quick. I gotta dig back here. But I guess for context, so we had a consignment shop here that had some interesting booths, and one of them was a like haunted items boutique, which I was really skeptical of. And a lot of that had to do with these, you know, are these things genuinely haunted, things like that. And how do we'll share screen for that. And I picked up a haunted doll. And it is a like late 1800s porcelain soft body doll. And it came with a cute little tag, and it's like, you know, the spirit that's attached to this is supposed to, like, you'll hear footsteps and like you'll hear it walk around, you'll hear a child giggling, and I was like, okay, whatever. Like, working with spirits is no biggie for me. And I get this doll home, and I have like a warded case that I put it in, and everything's fine for the first week. The doll definitely had a spiritual presence, like there was a spirit attached to it. And then I get this this thing walking across my bed in the middle of the night, and like firm, like 2 little feet, like walking across the mattress. And I was like, okay, I don't like that. And then I start hearing knocking occasionally coming out of the cupboard that this doll is in. And me and Amy decide that, you know, let's go on TikTok Live and do a seance with the doll. And we did. And we caught the doll moving on camera. And let me pull that up here. Share screen. I hope y'all can hear the audio.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Did that doll just move?
Yes. It just leaned forward.
Is it upset that we stopped talking to it? It was very sweet though. But I don't know if it was a house spirit either, because it's like, how are you? I like music, and I normally
one device.
There we go. But fun story. Not a cute little girl. That thing was probably as close to a demon as I ever want to experience. After that, I had people blowing up my inbox the next morning that they woke up with scratch marks. Amy had a dream that she was getting strangled by a spirit. And I had a 4-day migraine that I wanted to, like, release myself from the mortal coil over. and then we decided that we were going to move the spirit out of the doll. So I go through the banishment process with a friend, and I physically dismantled the doll. And it's filled with children's teeth and like what I assume is people's hair. And so it was a created spirit vessel. It wasn't like a naturally haunted object. But meet Meredith.
There she is.
And the thing is, when he said Amy had nightmares of like somebody climbing bed with her. Okay, so she.
Oh no.
We love
and she goes, she comes to me and she goes, Mom, will you sleep in my bed tonight with me? I go, why? She goes, because you're good with spirits too. Will you sleep with me? So I did for about a week. Because this doll really, really scared her.
It shook her up a lot.
It did. And I told her, I go, before you and Nico started, I warned you. I told you. But you don't listen to me. And she goes, Mom, just be with me, support me, love me. So I'm like, okay, so 59-year-old, well, 58 back then, 58 woman sleeping with her daughter, so, and kids. She has 4 kids, so they all just kind of come to bed. So, but has anybody else had any haunted items that they have or has encountered?
I do have a doll. I got her right here, but so her name is Maddie. This is Maddie. She's super tall.
Wow, she is.
Because when she said, I had her sitting in the front seat when I first got her, and it was so funny because I'm like, this probably looks really bad if like the cop pulls me over and thinks this is a child in the front seat with no booster seat. So I told my mom that I really need like a sticker on my car that says I ride with haunted vessels, so that they know that I'm not putting my children in the front seat of the car. I got her from a lady that didn't really like her energy. She does also have kind of real hair that's very different, especially on the top, because there's even one silver strand on the top, which is insane. But she does run around quite a bit at night out of her vessel. So it's very different, but she's super playful and it's very different energy. I don't get negative from her, but other people will tell you like, oh, I feel negative energy. And I feel like it's because, it's kind of like if you meet an angry person, you're going to say, oh, you're not going to say that person's just a bad person. You're going to say that maybe they were angry that day. And so I kind of feel that's kind of how Maddie is. She's kind of has that energy of I'm not like super nice to be your best friend, but I'm kind of in the middle of I need to get to know you first, or have that trust with you. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she definitely plays with my cats at night, because you can definitely, and then my son also will tell you, oh my goodness, there was something running around the hallway, and I'm like, oh, it was probably one of the vessels hanging out. So it definitely has been something that I connect with, even like when I go to Goodwill's or something. If I find an object or even a doll that's been there, sometimes I can kind of connect and pick up that energy, which it makes you almost sad that like they're there. They have so much energy to them, even like with the psychometry and having those energy impacts, that it's like, oh, that's so sad that you were in a house for who knows how many years and passed down, and now all of a sudden you're sitting on a shelf at the Goodwill. So then I'm like, I'm taking you home.
I have a friend that does that. She's got, oh my God, what did she tell me? She's up to 745 dolls. Yeah.
So you have your own room of everybody, right?
Yeah, she's got. She said she told me before, she says, I'm trying to think of what I'm going to do. My daughter, she only had one child. She says, my daughter will throw them all away. And she's like, I think that's going to be a mass exodus for all of them, and they're not going to like it. She's like, so I've got to think of something before I pass on so that these dolls will have, a continuity.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Autumn?
I got this wooden gumball machine off of Facebook Marketplace a few years back, and the second it arrived, because it was shipped to me, I got it off of Etsy, not that matters, but anyway, the second it arrived and I opened it, I was just like, ew, and just felt this like recoil, and I got that there was this alcoholic man that had some sort of physical limitation, like he was either in a wheelchair or there's an amputated leg or maybe both, but I definitely got something around his mobility being highly compromised, and that he was an alcoholic, and that he was just mean. And I'm a Reiki master, so I Reiki'd it, I burned sage inside of it, I just did everything, and every time I looked at it, I'm just like, nah. Even when I felt it be neutralized, I just didn't care for it, so I ended up giving it to somebody, explaining to them everything, but that it had been saged and stuff, and they like it, and they have no issues with it. But yeah, it was just really odd. Immediately, you could feel it.
Yeah, the energy coming right off of it. Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
That's like the only thing that I've really come in contact with, I would say, would be like we talked about Chrissy as Peggy the doll at Zach Baggins Museum. She definitely has, it's definitely a malevolent spirit that's attached to her. And she would talk, when I walked in, I would talk to her, and it was wild. She would do both. I could hear, like verbatim, I could hear her talking to me, but then Zach has the spirit box in there that runs continually. And so it was like matching word for word what she was saying. And like, I remember asking, like in my mind, I remember asking, like, do you even like being here? And like I said something like, are you being treated fairly? And she said, sometimes. And all of a sudden the spirit box said, sometimes, and my husband's like, are you doing that? And I said, I am asking her questions. Definitely I'm asking her questions. And she is responding. I mean, exactly what she's saying here is exactly what she's saying over here. And, again, the respect to her, just like we talked about with Robert, and hi, Peggy, bye, Peggy, being respectful of the entity that's attached. So I've had a case where I've had some dolls that were not so nice, but yeah.
Wow. Not here. My husband's like, nope, no doll. And Amy is like,
she's traumatized.
Yeah, she doesn't want nothing haunted or anything around. Well, of course, she has 4 small boys, with the youngest one being 3. So, and even though they are protective, she still wants to protect them herself as well. So I get it, and I respect it and everything. And if you hear my grandson in the background saying he loves me, he says he loves me.
Oh, I know, it was so cute hearing him.
He's playing with his Legos, so I'm interfering in his space.
That's right, the Lego room.
The Lego splash office. So yeah, so I'm interfering. So. Any other questions you guys want to ask each other, since do you have some more time here?
I have a question for Autumn. Autumn, do you do any of the Reiki Master? Can you do that Reiki Master classes or anything like that? Do you offer that yourself, teaching it?
I haven't. I have done it one-on-one on a couple occasions, but I don't really at this time offer full spectrum classes. But I have attuned people.
I'd love to do that. I would love to become a Reiki Master. So that's why I was asking if you would be interested in doing that, because I would love to learn.
Yeah, get a hold of me and I can help you with that.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of our gifts, I guess you can say, now Medium Red does offer some classes within the Cauldron. We just got done with a mediumship class, and she's going to do a past life
regression. Past life regression
in a couple of weeks and everything. Nico has done training. He did a 3-week mediumship training and is going to start doing
astral projection and dream travel.
Astral projection, yeah.
That's cool.
And I know, so we all have something to give. So this would be probably a good time to tell our audience what we do have to offer and how they can get a hold of us as well. So, and Gavini, I'll start with you.
Okay. So I also teach different kinds of classes. I have a school called Roots of Knowledge Academy, and I actually started that during COVID because everybody didn't want to go anywhere. And I still see that quite a bit, where you'll host a live in-person class and you'll have maybe a handful of people, but yet you have 30 that registered and RSVP'd. So that it's like, well, you know, I feel like a lot of people, because they get their groceries coming to their house now, they get all of this kind of convenience, that they really do like more live stuff like this. They'd rather sit back on their couch and listen and, you know, learn and be that kind of environment. So I do a variety of classes on there that are kind of online, but I also teach Reiki in person for, you know, people in Colorado. I have had a couple of people travel from Texas to do my classes with Usui Reiki. So I do those, but now kind of my main focus is also hypnotherapy. I recently graduated from HMI College for clinical hypnotherapy. So I realized how connected and how blended it goes in everything that I do on helping people with the reading, because pretty much when you're giving somebody a reading, they're in a natural state of hypnosis. So it's that natural state. It's not the stage show hypnosis where I can't make you go to sleep and make you start walking around like a duck. So
yeah.
At least something very, very useful that I've realized that I was already kind of naturally doing with others when I'm giving them a reading, like many of us already do. So I do that a lot more. And my website is www.higherrealmsalchemy.com.
And if you want to put that in the private chat, we can put it into the comments here too as well. But also if you go on within the Cauldron and we have the website, she would be on there too. I think Medium Red's going to be on there too as well.
Yep.
And
resources.
Yeah, underneath resources and stuff. So Autumn, do you have any services that you can offer anybody?
Yes, I can do remote Reiki healing sessions. I can do mediumship readings. I can do tarot readings. I can do psychic spiritual guidance readings. I can burn intention candles and give a candle reading. And there's probably other things I'm forgetting at the moment, but my website is autumntierney.com. And it's a pretty low-tech website at the moment. There's my phone number that you can just text me on really easily. And then there's also Autumn Tierney on Facebook. There are a few people with that name, so my profile picture has a black and white picture of me with a crystal ball, so it kind of is different. So feel free to friend request me, text me, whatever you want to do. Thank you.
And you need to join our Facebook group within the Cauldron.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get on
I'm sorry.
that right now.
I'm just plugging it in. Well, Medium Red, now how about you? I know you got things to offer.
Oh, I have mediumship classes that I do. I do past life regression sessions, and just like Gavinia, I found that actually I'm going to do this is going to be my first Zoom past life regression session that I'm going to do within the Cauldron and to a few other people on the outside. I've got more feedback on wanting to do it in a Zoom atmosphere as opposed to in person. The same thing. I did one a couple weeks ago that it was in person. I think I had like 15 or 20 that had RSVP'd, and I think I had 5 show up. So same situation where it wasn't very many that, like the groceries, Zoom seems to be, the avenue for it. So I also do paranormal investigations. I can do remote readings as well, like Autumn does, and have done that for other paranormal investigative teams throughout the country. And my website is still under being made. So, but it's mediumredaz.com. And you can find Medium Red on Facebook. You can message me that way is probably the easiest. And I'll put in the comments my name, Colleen Heldenbrand, which is my real name. And I can be reached through there as well, messaged as well. So.
And Nico, we know you have.
Yep. You can find me on social media on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube under the Corn-Fed Witch. I do one-on-ones either through Zoom or on Discord or Facebook Messenger. I do aura readings. I do Reiki and energetic healing work. I teach classes on herbalism, folk witchcraft, and spirit keeping. So creating spirit vessels, building relationships with spirits, and as well as bone readings and rune readings.
I didn't know you did rune readings. That's cool. I'm going to hit you up for that.
I'm a witch for hire as well. So I do spell work, specializing in spell removal and curse removal.
Yeah. And I guess that leads me. I do a lot of things. I used to, I should say. I don't do that many things anymore. I guess because I was being in the public for almost, a little bit over 30 years, going on 40 years, with the coven, sister covens that we have. We did the, pagan community events for 27 years. We taught at UU churches. So we did probably a lot. And I'm at the stage in my life where if you need something, just yell. I would do it for you, or find somebody else who would do it for you if I can. But right now, I'm just enjoying my family and my grandkids, because when I was doing everything with the community, my family was there, but I feel like I wasn't there for them as much as I should have been. So right now, it's all about family for me. So
we do community community healing requests within the Cauldron too. Mm-hmm. So if you send one of the admins a message and let us know, we'll ask for some information to help target that, and then we don't charge anything for that.
No, we don't. And I guess we can say that
in your book?
Yeah, the book.
Yes.
I got a book published. It's in proofreading right now. So I've been working on the lesson books from our coven, which is probably going to be about 3 to 4 books. Then I'm working on the 5th book about our life in the coven, in the community, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So that's going to be probably the last book I would do for the spring. But I'm not doing it as to get my name out there as an author. I'm just doing it because of my own family, just legacy. That's it. Because you don't make much money being an author. I can tell you that much right now. So I think to me, this is all about what I leave behind. Because I'd be 60 this year. So I don't know. I might live for 10, 20, 30, 40 more years. Who knows? Knock on wood, I guess. But, so it's just all about legacy for me right now.
I love that too.
If you do go within the Cauldron, our Facebook group, we do have daily questions, at least about 5 a week, that we try to get everybody to participate. If you want to post on a semi-daily basis, let us know. We would pre-approve you of your post. because right now we have to pre-approve everything just to keep off the bots and the scammers and everything. So, and we do Discord as well. We do have a Discord channel that we do discussions about every other month. We have a book club every other month that we do with a book of your choice. So you just talk about it. Website. So we're coming up on a year for the podcast.
Yeah, that's awesome.
3 years for the Facebook group, 2 years for the Discord group. So only good things are coming our way. That's all I can say. So, but any last words that anybody would like to add that we did not cover before we go?
I just think it was awesome that you put this together. Thank you, Chrissy, for doing that. This is great.
You're welcome. Well,
Yeah.
let's get the history behind this, okay? We talked, about 2-3 months ago, I think. We was on a podcast for paranormal, I think. And no, it was Happy Paranormal Day.
That's right. Yeah, it was National Paranormal Day. That's right. Yeah.
And we did a last minute podcast because we just found out Nick is like, hey, today is National Paranormal Day. And I'm just like, ooh, I'm going to do a podcast. I get Colleen. I get all of these other people. And we just had a really nice day about it. So then we started discussing about Medium Day. I think we looked it up and we found it.
We were curious what other witchy paranormal national days there were, and we found Medium Day. We're like, we're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. We had to.
We just thought, hey, yeah, we had to. We, why
have to celebrate us.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what we're going to do next. Who knows? I'm thinking it might be a Happy Zombie Day. We can all, so, I don't know. I have to look and see what other happy days they are.
Yeah, we had Happy Paranormal Day. We had Witches Day.
Yeah, Witches Day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, we had Psychic Medium Day.
Right.
We'll have to see what else they have. Because I'm sure there's got to be some good ones. I know there's feast days and stuff, but I wonder if there's an International Goddess Day. That'd be interesting.
That would be cool.
No, there is. Oh gosh.
Now we're gonna have to look it up.
August. Let me see. August 13th. Actually, tomorrow is Aradia's birthday, which is called Diana's Day or Goddess Day. So
there is International Goddess Day is September 7th.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there we go. Well, I guess we have to get something together for that.
That would be fun.
Let us think about it. I'm sure Nick and I can come up with something.
Whip something up. Exactly.
Yes. But I just want to tell everybody thank you for tuning in tonight. I know we're kind of silly and crazy and raw, but that's, love us or leave us. That's how we are.
So, you get what you get.
Pretty much, yes. You get what you get. So, but I just want to say blessings to all. Subscribe, share, like, and be blessed.
Be blessed. Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure to meet you, Gavinia, and also you, Autumn. And I think we lost
Megan.
Megan, yeah. But thank you, guys. Pleasure meeting you both.
Thank you. I had fun.
Blessings to all.
Yes.